the plans, because we have a plan for tomorrow, for tomorrow's event, which you have to be a part of. So tomorrow will be another great time together on the hackathon launch, which you cannot miss. You cannot miss it. So today, like every other day, it's going to be an awesome time again today, being the sixth lecture for this 3 weeks training. So today we'll be going straight to look at we'll be looking at data processing in ArcGIS Pro today. I hope you all got the mail we sent earlier today regarding the Africa Geoportal platform. So it will be down for some hours today, and it will be available again for use by everyone from 10 p.m. West African time. So we believe that you will be able to access the Africa Geoportal platform anytime from 10 p.m. That was the communication we got. So we believe that you all have access to that. And straight to what we have for today, I will take you through the timeline again, so that you just keep your mind around the major event, a major date for this particular event and the training. So we've had the masterclass kickoff, like we mentioned, that had about 2 weeks ago. And now we're having the current training that is ongoing, which will run for 3 weeks. So for this week, we mentioned that it will run for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And today we are now having it. So tomorrow we'll have the grand event. Anytime from next week, which is the final week for this training, it will be on Tuesday, and then it will be on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, like we've always had it. So it will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. So we also communicate these details to you via email. So please just note it, and it will also be live via Zoom and YouTube, and it will and you will also be able to engage all our facilitators via the Telegram platform. It will be live it will be on Zoom and YouTube, and it will hold by 11 a.m. West African time. So please note that it's important. Like we mentioned, registration closed yesterday. That was on 30th November 2022. And also, we mentioned that the hackathon application kickoff will be tomorrow. So we will show you this tomorrow. Okay. So the solution submission deadline for the hackathon is 18th of December 2022, like we've always mentioned. Please don't forget this. It's important. 18th December 2022. This is a date you must keep. It's important. Now, if you are yet to join the Africa Geoportal, so this is time to do that, so that you can also have access to the Pro license, the ArcGIS Pro license, so that you can also follow along and practice, and then you can use that to participate in the hackathon. So don't forget to join the Africa Geoportal. The link will also be shared on the in the chat and also on the Telegram platform. So if you are here to join the Telegram platform, we'll also drop the link for you to be able to join the Telegram platform. So just look out for that. All right, so this is the event we have for everyone tomorrow. This link will be dropped on the chat so that you can also join it and you can register for it. So this is where we'll be explaining the best practices when it comes to hackathon. And we believe that the facilitator for the session, our guest speaker for this session, will be doing a great job. A lot of justice to that, so that you get to know what you need to bring to bear in terms of how you build towards a winning solution. So look forward to that. It will happen 4 p.m. GMT +1 tomorrow, 4 p.m. West African time tomorrow. Please note that. We look forward to having you all. Please share this link. You can take a screenshot of it. You can also pick it from the Telegram platform. Just share with your friends, share with your colleagues all around the world. Let them join this. Let them be a part of it to also learn and be a part of the hackathon. So this will be taking us straight to what we have for today. And that is bringing up my colleague once again. I'll be bringing Patrick Osigali to the front so that he can pick up and continue with the class for today. He has been doing a great work, and I believe the comment, the feedback, and all of that we've been getting has been impressive. And we believe that today will be another groundbreaking learning. So make sure that you pay attention, ask questions when things looks unclear to you. We'll always be on the chat to answer you, and also on the Telegram to respond to your queries and questions and all of your concerns as well. All right, it's time. Thank you. So you're welcome, Patrick. You can have the mic. Thanks.
Okay, thank you again for having me. I'm excited to be also leading this training today, and I hope we'll be able to learn a lot together on what we have prepared for today. So without wasting time, I will just go directly to my slide. So I want you to confirm you can see my screen. So we have item listed for you we'll be covering today. So, and one of the most important parts is how can we actually use this data? We know that we will be having a lot of data. So there are some techniques that you need to know on how to process this data. So let's just deep dive into it. So we'll be working with a lot of data. We've said that. And the first the master class that kicked off this training, we saw our guest speaker from Esri demonstrate how to generate tessellation for us. So we'll be using that to do a little analysis. You know, we always try to do small, and we believe you will go ahead and improve what we have worked on in this session. So we'll be working on that tessellation. We'll be using raster data. How can we use the raster data? What are the techniques we can use raster data, and how can I actually process raster data so it can interact with most of the data I'll be working with. We'll see that, and we'll also try and explain the different type of raster data, the way they are being stored, and what is actually the difference between them. Then we'll be bringing in the health facility data, and we'll just go directly to the hands-on. So let's just start, not wasting more time. So this is tessellation we'll be generating the tessellation we'll be using. So tessellation I believe this is not strange to you anymore. And I believe this is not strange to you. It's something you've seen. So we have the hexagon, we have the transverse hexagon. So these are the type of tessellation, and you can generate them in different sizes, in different area square, like in kilometer square, mile. So just name them, you can generate, and it's a function that you can just use that is already existing on the app. So, and you can also read more about it on pro.arcgis.com. So it's a free link. You don't even have to pay to access it. Read about it, and you see different formula that this particular simple tool we'll be using is being calculated with. There are some complex formula that they use to implement them. Just read about them so that you know what the one that works for your solution. So raster data, as we know, my colleague have also explained this the first day of the training. If you've missed back and go back to training 1, And our lead mentor also explained this on the master class as well, and pointed out a lot of use cases. You can just go back to those two particular videos and you see how raster data is used, what are the possible use cases, when to use it, when not to use it, and how you can integrate it with multiple data. But yeah, because I'm just brushing through. So this raster is being stored in cells, and the cells can be measured in different lengths. It can be 1 kilometer per 1 kilometer, it can be 5 kilometer per 5 kilometer, it can be 100 meter per 100 meter. Just think about it. That is, and then raster vector data can also be converted to raster data. The same it goes. Raster data can also be converted back to vector data. So that's what we'll be seeing today. We'll be converting raster to vector, so we'll see how it is done. So, and we'll be working with population density. So the population, from the source we'll be using this data from, we'll see that they have the population density. We have a constraint versus unconstrained. Now, it's for you to understand this. You can use it, you can use any of them for your solution, of course. And we've already know that raster data is stacked at different level, at different covariance. And then we know that, so from the unconstrained, it's just like we have the values covered the surface of the particular area of interest you are looking at. But then let's look at the unconstrained, the one on my right hand side. You see it's a top down. Then the top it covers everywhere, just like settlement, and you see it. But then once you start going down, you find out that the data actually has spaces without values. Now, how this data was processed, they used a building settlement mask to filter out those locations that don't have data, that don't have buildings, meaning people are not living there. This is population. So you cannot have population at those locations people are not living. And for you to be able to get your data in a granular level, that's high resolution, you have to process raster data. So this is just a simple one, the one that represents values. There are also different type of other type of raster data you can use, like the one you can use for elevation, use for heat shade. So those ones you can convert it to, you don't need to convert it to vector, but you just need to style them with their bands, right? They have bands. So we have different type of bands. Some of them might have from band 1 to 12, band 1 to 9. So just you can check them up. But the one we'll be using today is the type we can convert to vector. You can take the data to a very high dimension. So we see what we are working on. So we just move to the next slide. So this is just this is the source where you can just get the data. If you want to get the data for Nigeria is small, we'll be using Nigeria as a case study today. So it's also available for the other countries in Africa. So just go to this hub.worldpop.org, and this link will be dropped after this class on the Telegram group. So everybody in the Telegram group will have access to it. Or if you can capture it and you want to see the data, just go directly and download it. The data is, when you get to this, when it takes you to the portal, you search for the country you are looking for. If it's Nigeria, just search for Nigeria and you download it. It's just for Nigeria, it's just 50 MB. 50 MB is not large. So we'll be using a zonal statistics tool to process the raster data so that we can interact with it very well, and we've been able to do all that type of calculation with it with our health facility location and health facility counts per location. That is what we will be doing. So the zonal statistics is we bring in a vector data, which is the shape file we'll be using, or the layer. We bring it up and we also the formula, the function is already existing there. We just break the raster data into the respective polygon, the region you are calculating it for, and then it does different type of calculation. You can look for the mean, median, mode, sum, and count. So the particular one depends on your use case. For the case of population, you don't have to use average. No, you don't have to use mode. You have to use sum because you are looking for the total population in a particular location. So by the time that processes it gives you a vector data. So that is the number 3 you can see here. So it takes the raster data, take a vector data you want to use to process it and convert it to it, give you a table. So the table you can join back to your vector data, and then you have the column you are looking for, and you move on. So we'll just go. So, and the health facility data, this, and we have it for Nigeria. I don't know if it's actually available. It should be available for other countries. The one that is not paid, the one we have before is just a subset of this. And this only comprises of the primary, secondary, and tertiary health facilities. It does not comprises of pharmacy or every other type. It does not. So it's just only primary facility, secondary health facility, and tertiary health facility. Those are the category that is contained here, but it shows all the location of health facility in the country. So we'll be working with this as well. So this is the link. You can download it from whomdata.org. Just search for it, Nigeria Health Facilities. You get it from there. So let's go directly to ArcGIS Pro, and let's start a new project. Yesterday, we talked about how to start a project, so I will not be talking more on that anymore. If you've missed yesterday class, it's on the YouTube. So just go to the YouTube link and watch the class for yesterday. So as I've said yesterday, for you to start a project, you just click on the default map. So we use that to start a project. I would love to name my project as training 6. Okay, I have better how to use it. Yeah, so I'll name my project training 6. So the project will start. I have a default canvas interface for the ArcGIS Pro. And the next thing I have to do is I'll have to bring in my data. So because we are having issues with the portal currently because it's undergoing maintenance, what we need to do is I'll just connect to the data locally. So I'll connect to the data locally. I've downloaded them on my PC. You can also do the same. And I explained yesterday, go to your canvas. If you can't see your canvas, if you can't see your catalog on the pane by your left-hand side, right-hand side, you can go to view on the ribbon. You see catalog pane, just click on it, and then you can dock it to your left-hand side or your right-hand side, but it's just advisable you leave it as default. So I'll go there directly. I have to connect my folder because I have the data available on my local PC. So I'm not using the portal today. So I'll just connect directly to my folder. Oh, I need to add a connection. Add a connection. So I click on my location. So I click on downloads. So this is my download. I click on download. I add the connection. Now I have my connection. I just move down. The data I'm looking for is in my download. So this is the XY. I'm not using the point. I'm using the raster data. All right, so this is the raster data I downloaded today. I'll just click and right click on it and add to current map. So it does some calculation. In case yours does not do this calculation automatic, You just have to set it to do it. Just click on it to help you to render your raster data very well. So that is the purpose. Now you can see that my data is actually in a constraint type. So we have some dots that are not having values, and we have some that are having values. So with this, we can see, and like what I've said before yesterday, I'll just focus on a small area. I'm not trying to say Lagos is small, but I'll use Lagos as a state for whatever I'm going to do today. So for me to do this, meaning I have to bring in my Lagos polygon, meaning I have to bring the Lagos admin boundary. So I'll just go directly to my catalog. It's also in my download data. I'll go to my compress. Because I already know where my data was downloaded to, so you can just use that as well. I'll be using the Lagos state. I'll use the admin boundary 2, admin level 2. I'll add it to my data, add it to my canvas. Now, remember what we did yesterday. Okay, let me just zoom to layer so that we see the full layer. This is the full layer. This is the local government in admin level 2, Nigeria. So what I need to do, I have to do select. I have to select my data. I have to select the location or the area I want to focus my analysis on. So I'll click on, come to map, come to select. I'll select by attribute. So by attribute, which feature am I using? I'm using the state name, and which state? I'm using Lagos State. Now I click on apply. Yes, is done with the selection. And what I'll have to do, I right click on what the layer I just did my selection on, come to selection. I'll make a layer from a feature layer from it. So my layer is being generated. Now I turn off the feature layer I was having before. I don't need that anymore. So what else should I do? I have to clear my selection. So I'll just take this off. I don't need information on my interface, so I don't get distracted. So now this is what we have. So this, I'll just zoom to the layer so we get it right. So this is Lagos and its local government. But then this is not what we want. This is just like a step to what we want to achieve. So what's next do we have to do? Now this is we said we are going to generate tessellation. So tessellation, you can get it from the geoprocessing tool. You can look at the pane by my right-hand side. This is my geoprocessing. I'll just search for it, tessellation. So it should be up. So this is tessellation. I'll just click on it. Now I want to generate my tessellation. So one thing you need to know, because I'm so confident that the space I'm working in now is almost equal. But then if you are working for a space, you know, it's not equal, it's always the best practice is for you to make sure that the space, your resolution is, you set equal resolution. So I'll just show you how to set that equal resolution. Come to my map, double click on it. I'll come to my step. I go to, I'll search equal. Now, when I search equal, I come to projection. I go to continent, and I want to use the Africa equal, Abbas equal area conic for Africa. I'll click on it. Now it automatically change the direction of my system. So of my map is now on equal space. So if I have to I have to select a particular area, and I select the same area in another location, it gives me equal area calculation. So this is also very good for your tessellation that you are going to generate. For it to be equal, it's best practice for you to do this. Else you will have some of them that will be bigger. You can't actually differentiate them with your eyes, but when you try to measure the area, you will find out that some are bigger and some are smaller. So let's just go to my tessellation. On my tessellation, which I want to generate, I'll just name it as Lagos Now I want to use 10 kilometer. I'll use 10 kilometer. I know this is quite small. You can use a deeper one, like 1 kilometer per 1 kilometer, or you can use even 100 meter. So you can use that. So let's just go for 10 kilometer per 10 kilometer grid. So that's what I'm generating. So the extent I don't want to generate it for the whole extent. It will take a lot of time to process. So for it to be faster, I want to use my location to select my generation. That's going to generate it for. So I'll use this. Yeah, I'll use my grid, which I have just generated. Sorry, the location I've selected, the shapefile for Lagos State. So I'll use the layer I'll use to set the extent. Now the hexagon, am I using hexagon? I want to use transverse hexagon. And then this is the size. What size am I generating it for? I said I'm generating it for 1 kilometer, 10 kilometer by 10 kilometer. So I pick square kilometer, and this is what I want to generate. That puts 10 kilometer. So I've set it, my resolution, my spatial reference to be equal. So it's already picked the spatial reference I'm using. Now, before you run this, there is also something you can learn from here. You can just click on the drop down from the run. You can copy that Python command. So meaning you can use Python as well. So, but then I'm not using Python. I'll just go out. And you can also schedule a rerun just for deployment sake, for production sake. When you have this, you want it to keep on working for you at a particular time interval, you can schedule it. But then we are just going directly because this data will not update today. So I'll generate that. Take on to just generate because it's generating it for a small area. But if I'm generating for the extent, for the full extent, it's going to take a lot of time. So, and the transverse hexagon is a little bit small. So this generation, tessellation I'm doing is not going to cost me any point because I'm using desktop. It's not going to cost me any credit. It's free on desktop. But if you do it on the web, it's going to cost you a lot of credits. But it depends on the area you're also going to generate it for. So it's generate for your area of interest. Don't go as far as generating it for the whole space or the full extent. What the extent it will take forever to process. So let's see, our output is almost done. That's 100%. Correct. Wow, it's generated. What happened? What happened? Okay, let me not just worry about this. I was supposed to, I think there was something I did select that make it to generate for the extent is saying currently. It did not use the shape file to do that. I could, okay, let me not just go there. I could just, okay, let me do something for you to see. I pick hexagon, I'll call this one hex, and I still use the same, let's say this. So what I'm going to do now, I don't need this anymore. I'll still leave this on. This should be done. This is a little bit faster than the transverse hexagon. The transverse hexagon takes a lot of time because it's processing for, it's like, yeah, this is, and this other one is just it's faster. So let's see what it, if you actually use the shape I specify. So without wasting time, what I have to do next is this, my tessellation I generated. I want to select it. Now I'm going to use select by location because I don't know where is Lagos on this particular space. So what I'll do now, just go by select by location. So I'm selecting for this and I'm going to use intersect. Anywhere it intersects with Lagos shapefile, Lagos layer, it should create it should make a selection for me. So I'll click on that. So it's done. Okay. So I don't need this hexagon. I'll just take the hexagon out. It's just for you to know that you can generate for hexagon as well. So what I have to do is I'll just, now from my selection, I can create a new layer from it. So I'll make a layer from my selected features. Now that is done. So I'll turn on this. So you find out that the selection I have now covers just only Lagos State. So I won't be needing unnecessary information or unnecessary layers I won't be using on my. So I'll rename this as Lagos State. So on this one is already Lagos grid. So I'll just take it to be Lagos grid. I'll add it. Fine. Now this is what I have. So what is next? We've not processed this raster data, and you can select from this raster data as well. You can also do clip. So if you want to do clip for the raster data, just come to the feature and the geoprocessing tool. You search on clip. So the clip will also help you to select the raster you needed. So look at the different type of clip you have. This one says extract input features from that overlay the clip feature, but this is the one you just use. I'm not doing it because what I want to do can just process it without doing this. But if you want to style your raster for just a selected area, you do this. That is the way you can work. Okay, let me just do it. So you see, I'll bring in my raster and I'll use the extent I want. I'll use Lagos as my extent. Now I'll just pick the clip. Wow, so it's fast. Now you see that it's only covered for Lagos. So this is what you can do. You can use clip to segment your data, take a fraction of it, and you work with it. So let's go on. What I need to do now, I want to use the zonal statistics, as I've said earlier, to process this my raster data into values and fit and vectors so I can use it. I don't want to work with raster data now for this particular data. I'll just go to my analysis. On my analysis, I drop this analysis course. So I see zonal statistics. So the zonal statistics, which you've seen on my slide before, how to create a zonal statistics. So I click on the, I click on this input data. So I'm using the Lagos grid. So it's taking a unique feed. So this is a unique feed that represents each of the grids. So let me just show you. So you see that it has a unique feed. Or go to the attribute table. Now you see this is objects. This is the unique feed for each of them. You see it's not the same. They are all unique. Just scroll it down, and we have about 454 for what we have here, and you see the length is the same. One is so just convert it because we work with kilometers square. So convert it back to do the conversion, divide by 10,000 and 1 million. You know that we are working with 10 kilometers. So I don't want to process that too much. So let's just go for the raster for the zonal statistics, which I have started. So I'll use this as my feed for me to recognize, because this zonal statistics is creating a table for me. It's not creating a shape file or layer on the map. It's only creating a table. So this unique feed is what I will be able to join my data with when I'm coming to join my data for the to the tessellation which I've generated. So I'll click on the drop down. Which one do I use? Should I use the clip? Let me use the clip so that it will be faster. So this is what is going to generate for me, but I can name it to whatever I want. But now I'll just leave the default. So because you might have to generate a lot, it's better you give it a name which you can recognize. So I'm keeping on the statistics type so you can see what it can process. But if this data was a multi-dimensional, like a spatial temporal data that have time, you have 2021, 2022, like back to 2010, you can use the multi-dimensional to process it, and it creates value for you for a cell which you are generating the zonal statistics for. it creates a value for you for that one for the respective time zone that the data has. So this is also something you can find, or like when you are working with night light data or any other data that have time series, like the population data that is time series from 2000 to 2020. You can try that out. It's very, very important, and you see you'll be able to have a time series value data. So this is going to be very fast. So we have our zone statistics. So this is the value. I'll just open data so you see what we have. Now, look at what it calculated for us. It counts all the cells that are in there, but the column with the value we're going to use is just only the sum, because this is what aggregates the population. And mind you, we are not using population density here, we are using population counts. So it's also the same, you can use it for population density. So this is only the column is what I will be working on, but just to tell you that our other statistics return back for you. So I'll just have to join it with my grid, 10-kilometer grid, which I've created for Lagos. I'll come to my geoprocessing tool, just make sure I can search. I'm using this so that you know there is a lot, just anything you want to do, search half of the text, it brings it out for you. So you'll be able to say, okay, fine, this is what I want to do. So what I want to do now to join the data, I'll just search for join. Now it's already showed me join feed. You find out that join features did not cover, my license didn't cover this join features, is not open. I can't use it. There is a padlock there, which shows that license did not cover it. But this join feed, it covers it. So I'll just click on the join feed. And when you hover over it, you see the definition, what you are trying to do. In case you don't have an idea of how it works, you can just look at it. What is it doing? So I'll click on this. So it's bringing in my input data. My input data will be, so what feed am I joining it with? I'll use the grid ID. Now, what about the join feature? Join table, I'll use the zonal statistics I calculated for population, and they both have the same grid ID. So at any point it intersects, that is where it will return. It will just transfer the value of that column to what I have. So I'll select the column. I'm not using all the column. I said I want to use sum because that's what represents the total sum. I can just check for validation in case there is an error. It shows that there is no error. Then I click on the run. When I click on the run, this will be so fast as well, because but when you are working with large data, that's why you have to just limit an area of interest you want to work on. Now let's see our data here. This is what we have. You see it has come here, but now I do not actually know what value I have here. What is sum? So what can I do if I don't really know what is sum? So I want to go to my feed so that I can do my calculation. So I want to go to feed view. I can rename, I want to rename my column. And also, let's see, it's also in a decimal point. I don't need decimal points because you can't be telling me that if you are counting population, if you are doing population count, you'll be having decimal point. I know you estimated population, but I don't want to use decimal. So I'll have to turn it back to whole number. So from here, this is the column I just created. I want to rename it. So, but this feed name, there must not be space. You can use that score, or you can use camel case to name your feed. So I'll call it my total population. And it also limits the number of lengths, number of tests it can take. But here I can format it the way I want. So I can just say total population. This one accepts space, and it's visible for you to see that you understand what you are doing. Total population count. So I want it to be sure that it's total population count. Now comes to numeric. This way I can reduce my values to decimal, reduce the number of decimal points that I have. So I'll just double click on it. If I double click on it, I have these 3 ellipses here. I'll click on it, it comes down. So this is my decimal. I want to reduce it back to 2 decimal place. Yeah. So once I don't even need a decimal at all, I'll reduce it back to 0. So I click on it. You can explore every other function there. So you see numeric, you see there are other different type of functions. You want to do percentage, currency, it helps you to do the formatting. So I'll do on it. This is done, and I will come over to my ribbon to save. If you don't save, whatever I've done here will not be affected. So I'll click on save. Fine. So with this, I'll close the feed view. Now, this is what I have. So what is next for me to do? I just want to, let me hide the population. And now I'll right click on it. You know how we said we go to symbolization. But then if I'm not using this symbolize, if I don't want to right click on it, I click on the file, the layer. I'll come to feature layer, and you still see there is symbolization here. I can pick the drop down. I come to graduated color. Now on my graduated color, I click so now the value I'm going to use, what value am I using? I'm using my population count. And we can choose to go for 10 unique natural breaks. So now you see my tessellation, my grid in different local governments is formatted. Now I can use different color. I can use different color. You can try different color. Just search for it. What is the best color to represent population, or the way you want to interpret your style of population? Just so then we see the area that have lower population and the area that have higher population, and we see that if you know Lagos very well, you see this mainland, this area is very busy. Population is highly clustered around here. And okay, this is also Ikorodu. You can see it from this point. Now, what is remaining? We said we'll be working with our health facility. Now, bring in our health facility. We go to our catalog. Where can I find my health facility? Is under my context, because when I downloaded it, it's a shapefile. That particular link, you download the shapefile, you can download the CSV, but it's advisable to download the shapefile. So I come over here, I have my health facility, Nigeria health facility. You can see the folder. Now on the folder, I have a shapefile, Nigeria health facilities.shp, which is the shapefile. I right click on it. I add to my current map. I don't want to generate a different map for it. Now coming to my current map, I'll just keep my attribute table out. So if I view it, you see that it covers I zoom to layer, that it covers the Nigeria space. So Nigeria area, it covers it. So this is how you have the heads. You can use this without even doing any selection. You can use this to do heat map. You just style it based on heat map. It's there in your symbology. Just try different type of map. This is points. You can use points to style heat map. But now what I need, this particular data can also be selected. Say where I selected the feature, I can use location to select it. If I want to use location, just come over here. But I won't be doing that. I don't really need it. What I want to do can easily do my calculator for me. You click on the location, the same way I selected the location, and you try it out. You can select a particular area you need, a state, a local government, a ward out of the data, and you work with it. It's fine. So what do I need to do? I want to calculate, I want to count each, what's the number of health facilities in one location. Now, let's look at the health facility data. Let's look at the attribute table of the health facility. We can see the attribute table and we see the source. So now we see the name of the health facility. This one is GRA nursing home. You see each of them. Are they primary health facility? Are they secondary? You see them here. This is their functionality. Is it known? On this portioning, you see the different type of health facility. The primary health facility is more. or you definitely see the secondary and the higher one, which are mostly your teaching hospitals and that. So this is the ward. So it's up to the granular, it's up to ward level. And you see we have the local government names. Just check them out and state. So this is the features we have. But then I want to count them I want to aggregate all my points into each of my grades. So I'll click on my grade. I come to analysis. I'll do summarize with. I always like using summarize with because it makes my calculation very easy. So which polygon is my input data? I will take the grade. So which is my input summary feature? So I will take the head facility. Now what this is doing? Let's see what it's doing. This gives us a clarity of what it's doing. Can you see the pop-up that come up is summarized within? Is so at the point at which they intersect, that is the point it will aggregate. So anyone that goes outside this, so this is two shapefile. This is two shapefile we have here, the points and the polygon. And by the time you join them together, you have this, and this is the last processing, and it comes out in the table. So my own, I don't want to spend statistics now. I just want the count. So once you do summarize it, it gives you counts from the data. I'll just generate it, count. So it's doing the intersecting, it's updating, it's done. That was fast. Now let's check the data we just processed. Now I don't need this anymore. I've generated a new one. I might not need this for now if I want to use it. So let me just take it down. So this is one I'm working with. I zoom to layer. Now look at the count. So some grid does not have data, does not have health facility, while some has health facility. And now you look at it, area where there is no population, you see there is also no health facility. But area with population like this area have 990 population, people living there and estimated population, and this is what you can see. It is just only have one health facility. So do that area need more health facility? Where am I going to, if I want to situate a new health facility, how can I differentiate it? So you also see area with higher population. This is like 500,000 people living in this 10 kilometers square, and it has 72 health facility. Is this population, is this health facility serving these people fairly? Is it enough to serve 500,000 people? That is what we are going to do. But before we do that, I want to also rename this my column so that I know I am working with a name that is. So this is the point count. I'll just take it as population count. Sorry, health facility, number of health facility, number of health facility. So I come here, I can name it properly now. Number for the readability purpose, number of health facilities. Now, this is what I need. And I saved my edit. I close this. I will not be needing this anymore. Let me take this out. So I will have to rename this. This is my 10 kilometer with health facility. So now what else can I do? I said I'm going to do a calculation. What type of calculation do I need to use? I want to create what is the number of health facility per 10,000 population. That's the calculation I'm going to do now. what is the number of health facility per 10,000 calculation. So I will now know that, okay, this particular area is the health facility. So one health facility per 10,000 people. Can one health facility be able to solve? Can one health facility be able to service to 10,000 people? Now, that is the part of the type of analysis you just have to think about. So use the figure you think is explainable to your analysis and what you are, the problem you are providing us, providing a solution to. And second, one thing you need to know, you have to do a lot of research for you to be able to know which value should I use, what is the right value, what is the recommended right figure for number of health facility, number of people in the particular area. So we just click, I'll just click on this. So in this case, I'll have to create a feed. I'll make it add. Now, what will I call it? I'll call it health facility ratio. Yeah, let me call it health facility to 10,000 population. Yeah, so I can name it very well here, health facility. No, now let me use ratio of health facility to 10,000 people. Now, is it going to be decimal? Because it's going to be double. I have to also state it here. So I will prefer to use double. You can check what is the difference between double and float. They are both decimal, but one accepted a larger number of decimal places than the other. So that's as well. So from here, it's okay this way. I can work with this. I can work with this. Now I'll save my edit again. So now that I've saved my edit, what do I have to do? I have to do the calculation. So you see, it fills everything with no value. Now I click on calculate feed. I'm not calculating geometry. If you want to calculate the area of a particular polygon, you use calculate geometry or anything concerning geometry. But now I'm calculating feed with two different columns. I'll just click on calculate feed. So this is what I have. I'm using Python. You can use Arcade. It allows you to use Python and Arcade. Arcade is in the format of JavaScript, but it's not really JavaScript, but it's just in that format of Java. There's no big difference if you are not using it for a web interface. So I'm using Python. So on the Python, what I need the health facility. So I'll click on it. Number of health facility. When I double click on it, and I'm dividing it with the number of population counts. Now I have this because I said I'm using 10,000. I'm doing it per 10,000 population. I'll just multiply by 10,000. So I'll share a source with you as well. You can check it out, how to do different mortality rates, any type of comparison or ratio you want to do in epidemiology relating to health or any other type of calculation. That site is very necessary, it's very important for you to use. So with this, I have to leave my figure in a very high. So, and secondly, once I've done this, I have to check if it's validated, if there will be error. So I click on verify. It shows that expression is valid, and I click on apply. So apply, so it gives me a warning because of non-value. That is where your skills will come in. Anywhere there is non-value, you can choose to return 0 or you choose to skip it. So this warning will be out. You know how to use if-else statement in Python. It's also applicable in where I just do my typing now. So that is also an assignment for you. Now, look at my figure. This is what I have. Do I really want to work with this? I'm having decimal point. Why can't I just round it to whole number so that I start counting how many health facilities to 10,000 population? So I will just right click on it again. I go to the same calculate feed. So it's just edit. I'll use the round function in Python So when I use the round function in Python and I select how many decimal places do I need? 0. Oh, sorry, I need 0. So how many decimal places do I need is 0, and I also come back and validate. Is it valid? It's valid. So I apply. Once it's done, I click OK. What happened? Okay, so some of them will be none. So we see the other ones that so is oh yes, this is correct. I just want to be sure that it's correct. Fine, it's correct. So we see that some areas are having high number of head facility. So this is done. So I'll just change my styling now, my symbology. I'll come to symbology. I'll change what I've used before. So everything I did before could also be done here, but I don't know if you will be able to now aggregate it with, if you'll be able to aggregate it with the normal 10,000 we use, but you can divide the number of head facility per the population count. In this place, you pick the head facility in the field and you normalize with the population count. But now I've done my calculation already. I don't have to do that anymore. So this is what I have. And I can also style whatever I have here. Whatever I have there, this legend, I can rename my legend, that it will be fine. So this shows that my work is ready. Now, this is what I have. So what is next for me? I'm able to see the areas that have at least they have a reasonable head facility to the population. Like let's say it has 31 head facility and the population there is just 40,000. You see that? So is the ratio now is now 8 head facility to 1,000 population in that area. So this is what you are supposed to see. So, and something I would have loved to talk about, I will be able to do that because my time is almost up. So other things you can do, let me just tell you, you cannot format your pop-up. So when you want to format your pop-up, you just come over to this place, you click on this, you come to label. No, let me just use here. You don't have to go there. Just right click on it here. You come to your pop-up. You see, it's not disabled. Now you can configure your pop-up. Just return the values you need. You don't have to return everything. Like when I click on this, is bringing out information I don't need. Like this shape area, length area, I don't really need them. And I can format the names of this place very well. And you can make it to look like it's a web pop-up you are seeing. So just try it out. It's very easy to do. Just check it out from here. It's a drag and drop, and you can use expression if you are good with Arcade or Python. So do that yourself. So that's your do it yourself for today. So with that, I say we have come to the end of my presentation. So the other thing you could do is for you to map, because we are having issue with the portal, I won't be able to share the map. Yes, I would have been able to share the map. And one thing you need to remember is before you share your map, rename the map in this place. Always rename your map so that you have a reasonable name and you'll be able to recognize them. And when you share your map, all the layers that are in this place, all the shape layers, all the file layers that are here will also be populated alongside it. So that is all from my side. I hope you were able to pick up something. Please, whatever you've learned today, advance it in different ways, being able to create different solutions. So the last part I said I will try and do is to show you the source. So this is the source. You see where they started doing the different measures for crude death rates. You have access to these data. The number of malarias in those areas, they are raster data. That's why this class is very important for you to have attended. That's how you'll be able to process the figure, the population ratio, what is the percentage of people that are poor in a particular location. They are all in rasters, and we have the data ready for you. Get your hands dirty with those data, be creative with it, think of a problem, provide a solution, and use Geospatial to solve it for your location. Then you find out that you are impacting life, and your work will be much appreciated by the general public. Thank you. Over to you, Ebe. Hello, Ebe.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you are audible now. So I will
All
mute
right.
you.
Thank you. It's been an interesting time with everyone. Thank you for demystifying the whole concept of tessellations and many other things there. Guys, I mean, can we see your reaction on the chat? Are you excited? I mean, well, did you find this session interesting? Let's hear your feedback. If you have questions, so I think this time for us to quickly take questions before we come to the end of this class. So we're still able to give about two to 3 minutes for questions and answer. So if you have any questions, please quickly drop it. You can also share your reaction, maybe your excitement and all of that. So you can also share with us. So I will be doing a quick reminder also of the event we have tomorrow. Okay, so just a minute. So also, like we mentioned, the Africa Geoportal is, I mean, we're currently having issue with it. So it's being resolved, and we look forward to having it ready anytime from 10 p.m. West African time today. So that you're able to go back to working on the platform. So, but we can assure you that you will have that any moment from tomorrow. So just ensure that you always visit the platform, and then make sure that you are adding value to yourself, trying out all the recent steps that you've learned from the training. They are very important. And we believe that all that will prepare you for the hackathon session, period. Just be able to do a whole lot of things. So let me see. Okay, great session. So getting feedback. Thank you, Serene. Diana, thank you. All right, thank you, Eunice. Okay, so I'll just take you through a quick walkthrough of this one. Tomorrow we'll be having this event, like we mentioned. So the event is purely about the hackathon kickoff, and where we'll be having Uneku Noor Abdullahi will be walking us through the best practice of hackathon in how to build solid solution, how to build winning solution that makes real impact. So these are things that I'll be looking out for as in your submission for the hackathon. And we believe that this session will prepare you massively for how you go around building your solution, building your team, and also deploying your solution to actually support the health intervention and other areas of health that we are looking at. So this event will hold tomorrow, Friday, 2nd December, and it will be at exactly 4 p.m. West African time tomorrow. You can start dialing in from anytime from 3:50, 3:55. You will always have us. So we look forward to really having you at the session. Like we mentioned also, you can share the link with your colleagues out there. The link I'm dropping again now. So just register for the event via this link. So, and then also share with your colleagues and friends out there. Details about this event is already available on our Telegram platform, and we also have it on all our social media platforms. So in case you need it, we also try as much as possible to share with you via email, so you have it there. Thank you. Thanks so much for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow and also next week. Enjoy your day. Thanks.